Hello, my name is Matt Yule from Bromley Mencap. I'm here today to give you a presentation on sleep. Well, I first became interested in sleep several years ago whilst I was suffering some bouts of insomnia. And for those of you not aware, insomnia is where you have difficulty sleeping. And boy, did I have difficulty sleeping. So over the years, I've studied this quite a bit and read quite a few things on how best to improve it. So I thought I'd set up this presentation, which I hope you'll find quite interesting and amusing in places. So something deeply strange happens every day of your life. You close your eyes, you become oblivious to your surroundings, and you go out on repeated journeys into a fantastic world. In this imaginary place, you might fly around, spending quality time with your favorite celebrities, or maybe defend the earth against the zombie apocalypse, maybe watching horror as all your teeth fall out. But eventually you regain consciousness, open your eyes, and carry on with the rest of your life as if nothing happened at all. Perhaps most remarkably of all of this, it's not a brief experience. On average, you sleep for a third of each day, and a quarter of this time is spent dreaming. So, sleep problems. What do you think about sleep problems? Are you one of the many that have sleep problems? Well, looking at the insomnia stats for the UK this year, 36% of UK adults struggle to get to sleep, at least on a weekly basis. Almost 1 in 5 have trouble falling asleep every single night, and nearly half of the UK have trouble falling asleep at least once a month. But interesting enough, did you know that the place with the most trouble sleeping is Walsall in the West Midlands? No idea why that is, but apparently that's the case. Also, women have more trouble falling asleep than men. And 55% of young people, those aged between 18 and 24, say they find it hard to get to sleep at least once a month. These figures are pretty bad, but if you look at America, we're nowhere near as bad as they are, as 70% of adults report that they obtain insufficient sleep at least one night a month, and 11% of them report insufficient sleep every single night. So, how much sleep do you think that we need? Well, the science now is fairly settled, and they say that most adults consistently need between 7 and 9 hours sleep a month. What do we think about improving our sleep? So, winding down. Winding down is really a critical stage, I think, in preparing to go into bed. And there's quite a few ways, tips potentially for you to take on board. Hopefully I can give these to you. First one is have a warm bath. Not too hot, just to get your body temperature up a little bit, hopefully just to relax you a little bit and get you ready for sleep. Another thing to do is potentially to write down your to-dos for the next day. This can really help sometimes, just to organise your thoughts that could be racing through your mind and causing you a bit of anxiety. So if you write them down, hopefully once they're written down, they'll leave your mind and you can get on with your sleep. Also, relaxation exercises. Things such as like yoga stretches, relaxing, tensing, and then releasing your muscles. There's quite a few things that you can look up on the internet for that. Also, changing how you think about your room. So, quite often people just clutter up their bedrooms, and that can't have a great effect on your ability to settle down for bed. So if you get the opportunity, just clear out of all that clutter, make it nice and organized. Also, think about keeping your room darker. The lighter the room is, the chances are that you're going to stay more awake. So maybe the darker the better, almost like you've got a bat cave, your own personal bat cave. Keep the room quiet. Might sound like an obvious one, but if you can try and be as quiet, keep the room quiet as possible, it's going to aid you in getting ready for having sleep. Keeping your room cool, that's quite a useful one. Just making sure that it's at the right temperature for you, really. Nice smells, really important. I think in the past I've used lavender. Lavender's really good for those people that suffer from sleep problems, can help with anxiety. You can get the mist sprays for your pillows. All those sorts of things are really, really good. And maybe one of the last things to think about could be to paint your room. Maybe your room's the wrong colour for you, and it's not a nice, relaxing colour. So potentially think about painting your room a different colour. Relaxation CDs. CDs may be a little bit old hat now. Maybe you're going to be going online and going to places like YouTube to choose certain playlists, but there's lots of relaxation music out there, whether that's the sound of nature, the sound of waves crashing in, or whether it's the sound of the jungle, or weather sounds of animals like dolphins or whales, those sorts of things. They can be really, really aiding towards settling down for bed. Reading a book or listening to the radio. So not listening to loads of intense sort of big loud music, but nice quiet music, maybe something like classic FM, or just reading a book, not taking into something too in-depth detail, but that can quite often relax and distract your thoughts. There's lots and lots of apps that are available out there, things that can help you sleep. So if you go either to the App Store, so Play Store, Google Play Store, or go to Apple Store, you'll see that there's lots and lots of apps out there for you to choose from. And the NHS also have a library list of that. So if you need it, you can just contact me. I can send you the list for that. Big thing now, this is probably the biggest thing overall, is avoid using smartphones, tablets, or any other electronic devices. Don't have a TV in your bedroom. All of that bright light, all of those blue lights can affect your brain and basically wake you up rather than settle yourself to sleep. So think about turning them off for about an hour before you go to bed, just to get yourself prepared. Keep a sleep diary. Keeping a sleep diary could be really useful. Could uncover some really interesting stuff that's been going through your mind. Also, if you did think about seeing your GP, he may actually advise you to keep a sleep diary. Sleep diaries can sort of reveal underlying conditions that explain, what's going on with your insomnia and sort of maybe the stress and sort of anxiety that's been going on in your life. Okay. So moving on to this one, sleeping positions. What do they say about you? Okay, so there's lots of different sleeping positions out there. This is a bit of fun, not necessarily something to be taken too seriously, but let's have a look at the first one. So quite common sleeping position for people is called the semi-fetal position, like that. Then you have the full fetal position. So that's when your knees are slightly up further towards your chin. You've then got the soldier sleeping position, which is quite an obvious one, sort of almost standing to attention but lying down. And then you've got your log position, which is on your side there, sleeping like a log, hopefully. You've got your starfish, again, it's quite an obvious one, spread out. You sleep like a starfish, like that on your back. And then turning over, you've got the free fall position. That's another position that people sometimes sleep in. And then last of all, you've got the yearner position. Okay. So what do those sleeping positions say about you? Not necessarily something to be taken completely seriously, but sleeping positions could possibly give you an indication about your personality. In the late 1970s, a psychiatrist called Samuel Dunkel presented the world with a new and exciting theory of personality. In his book, the night language of the body, Dunkel argued that it was possible to gain a genuine insight into a person's personality based on their preferred sleeping position. So which one is your sleeping position? So semi-fetal sleepers, they're seen as being very compromising and even have a conciliatory nature. They're peaceable, pose no threats, and also seem to be non-shakers. Full fetal sleepers are said to be extremely emotional and sensitive beings. Full fetal sleepers are touted to having a tough outer personality, but are softies and very sensitive, even shy. Soldier sleepers are considered to be less outwardly and more internal characters, having a cool, calm, collected personality without too much fuss. Sleeping like a log implies that you are a sociable person, easygoing, and one who trusts others with a tendency to being gullible. Starfish sleepers are nice to talk to. They're very good listeners. You shouldn't have trouble starting a conversation with them and asking them for their assistance, and they are usually willing to help out. Freefall sleepers have an extroverted personality. They're outgoing and can be brash. They also don't take criticism too nicely and may be unnerved by it. Yearner sleepers have the tendency to be open-minded yet cynical. They can be obstinate and may harbour suspicions. They are rather rigid once a decision has been made and it remains fixed, and they often don't change their mind. But the truth is that we change our positions on average between 10 and 30 times a night. So it's quite difficult to say whether there's anything in this, but I'll leave it with you to consider. Okay, taking a nap. If you have trouble sleeping during the night, some of you may think, well, how about taking a nap? Is taking a nap good for you? And how long should that be? So a short nap would be about 5 minutes, a medium nap, maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and a long nap, maybe 30 to 60 minutes, or a full nap, 60 to 90 minutes. So is taking a nap good for you? In studies, researchers say that napping 2 or 3 times a week might be good for you, and maybe good for your heart, good for your all-round health. But as with all the things that I've mentioned in this video, if you have trouble with your sleep, probably the best advice is to speak to your GP and speak to them to get some proper expert advice so that they can head you in the right direction. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this presentation, which I hope you found enjoyable. Just wanted to say happy sleeping to you and all the very best.